in my direction. So thankful that it's a blessing to turn every situation and yeah. Oh, you are my sunrise on the darkest day. Got me feeling some kind of way. Slowly. Despacito, quiere despacito, deja vu, para que despacito, cara.
I ain't feeling lonely, and I wanna admit it's time to end the ride. Fading it too slowly, were those gonna lift me up this time? You were the only one who got me tripping up inside.
Hello everyone, this is Calliope, and now that I have finished goofing around, let's start this video. So today's topic is the questions you need to ask before you get married. So I'm not at my usual wall again because it has been raining and the natural light just seems as usual, and it's a long video also, so I thought, let me just sit down and relax and talk about this topic. So without wasting any more time, let's begin this video. So of course, marriage is such a big deal. We all know it's a big decision, like even when you are engaged to someone or when you have been dating for a long period of time and you decide to take the plunge, it is a big decision. You have to suddenly just adjust with this new person, or not adjust as in, I think even if you have been in a relationship for many years and you know this person, I think living with this person is different. So I think a lot of people, that's why at least in the West, they are like, getting into live-in relationships to just see how it is to live with this person. So I'm still not sure I ever want to do that, but I think it's a good thing, because you come to know each other's really good and bad habits and what they like, and you kind of get to know each other more intimately. It's like you cannot be on your best behavior all the time when you're actually living with that person, or at least you have to start being on your best behavior, because then you might get into an argument with your partner or something. So let's discuss these questions, which you need to ask your partner. And this is not just for men, it's also for the women, so men watching my video, you can ask this to your fiance or to your long-term girlfriend. Okay, now the first question is about kids, and this is a very important question. So does your partner want to have kids, or does she not want to have kids? Or if he wants to have kids, how many kids does he plan to have? And when does he plan to have? Does your partner feel okay about adopting one kid or maybe sponsoring some kids? Did he also wanted to always adopt? Is he okay with you not having kids at all? Or is he okay with you just considering adoption and not having your own biological kids? Especially in a country like India, this thing is very much like, you have to ask your families, and they won't be fine with someone else's child. About adoption, a lot of people are not really okay with the idea. So then they are like, oh, kisi aur ka khoon hoga, kaise hoga, and all that bullshit things. So this is a very important question, and I think you should ask this while you're dating. I feel, not just before suddenly you decide to get married, but while you're dating. In fact, I feel you should just ask in the initial few dates itself. Actually, this video is not just for people who are thinking of getting married. I feel that at least, especially when you are in your 30s or when you are in your late 20s and you decide that, okay, maybe in a couple of years I want to get married, these are the questions you need to ask, if you are in a serious relationship, because this can be a deal breaker, and it's no point continuing the relationship if any of these questions are not answered according to what you were looking for. Next question is about his and her finances. So you need to talk. I know it might sound like, like it's not a right thing to do, but you need to know each other's finances. And for me, it is not like, more important than how much money he has, but how he made that money is more important. Because it's great to hear that, okay, he has a holiday home in Dubai or some exotic place, but then how did he actually earn that money is important. Because what if he has got that property by earning, do number ka paisa, and doing some shady business, and then after marriage, what if he lands in jail for some bribe he took or whatever it is. So you need to really know, how much you both actually own, and talk about finances. Finances, it can be about everything. It's about property, your joint accounts, fixed deposits, and whatever investments you've done, and short-term and long-term goals when it comes to finances. Are you going to give money at your home, if you are a girl, or even if you're a boy? Yeah, this much money is like monthly I will be giving to my parents, or I'll be sending back home if they live in native village or whatever. It's important to actually talk about these things so that there is no conflict after marriage. He or she can't say, oh, why are you doing this, why are you doing that. This has to be talked about, before marriage. I would say even record it or something to just keep it as evidence. So I think it's also about, finances may, how he earns or how she earns. This may even like character would be like, shown. I mean, are you okay with being with someone who pays bribes? I know a lot of people at least in India and Mumbai would be like, but यहाँ पे तो ऐसे ही सब चलता है. So you are okay with it, then fine. It's your life. But if you are someone who is like me, then think about it. I mean, there are a lot of people who get caught also. Now, next question is about ambitions and goals. So the other day I was reading an article about just relationship stuff, and what actually turns on like both men and women. And it was like, usually it is simple things like smile and eyes and stuff like that. But then ambition is not really a turn on for people. Why? I mean, I really admire and love ambitious people. It can be both men and women, in general sense. Like, I admire people who are always ready to do something. It can be like, women even like after period of their lives, say 5 years are over after the pregnancy, and the kid is like, grown up, and they have that fire in them to do something. They can't sit idle, so they'll start something like baking classes or craft classes and something like that, and they want to do something, side by side. It's part of being a homemaker. I like ambitious people. It doesn't have to be like a big goal, but you need to have some ambition. So yeah, when it comes to marriage also, you need to ask your partner about their ambitions and goals and future plans. What do they see after 2 years for them? Is there a goal set? Does she want to travel for work? Does she have an eye for that promotion, and that will make her, travel more or put in more hours of work, Or what if your fiance wants to travel and explore some other options in some other country? Are you willing to travel? Are you willing to settle abroad? What if like, he decides to work for a few years and quit his job and then decides to open his business or something like that, like ho sakta hai. So this is like career and goals, ambitions. Each individual has this for themselves, okay? They have said that, and I don't think so anyone should stop in fact you should support. Yeah, it can happen ki, you know, you're not willing to travel there because you have your work here. So all these things needs to be talked about, because there are so many times that a lot of people are not happy in marriage, and there might be some things like, you know, the wife doesn't feel adequately satisfied with her job, or she's not happy because her family is not around. There can be so many things, you know, she doesn't feel fulfilled because she's just tied up with her kids and home, and she just feels kind of maybe guilty that she has left her job. So many things can happen, and are you willing to support this person through that journey, you know? Because goals and career and ambition is so much of a part of each person's life. It might not be for some people. Maybe their goal is just to be a homemaker. That's also okay, but then the husband should be okay with it and not taunt the wife about it. So everyone's goals and ambitions are different. I'm not just saying about career women, but you need to talk about all these things just before marriage. Next question is discussing about household work and duties. I'm sure a lot of young generation today is like a lot of boys are not like that, like our generation ke, you know, dads, you know, they are very helpful around the house, but still it's good to talk about this. You might feel like, oh, it's such a petty thing, it's such a silly thing, what to talk about, you know, but I think you should talk about it, you know, before marriage, because it can be a small thing, but then you might actually fight about it after marriage, argue about it. It can be like a big thing, even though it's a small thing. So who is going to cook every day? Do you think you should actually hire a maid? Do you think he is fine with doing the dishes? Or a simple thing is like, I think when you stay in a house, it should be like understood that everyone should help in the house. That's what I feel. Why does the mother only has to do everything and the father is not doing something, or the daughter is not doing something? I think everyone should do some little bit of household duties, you know, and it should not be like only if someone is saying you should do. It's like an understood thing. Like supposing the wife is going to be late, if the husband has come home early and the dinner is not ready, why not start at least by chopping things, or maybe even cooking it? इसमें बोलना क्या है? That's what marriage, I feel, is all about, you know, adjustment or understanding these things. You don't have to like wait for the wife and just, you know, sit around with the TV and remote and wait for her to come, or just order unhealthy outside food. Why? It should be your responsibility too, especially if you have kids. Then I mean, you should be there for daddy duties too. Like, why is it only the wife's responsibility? So a lot of things need to be talked about, you know. It should not be that these things actually make you argue about it after marriage. So be very careful what you're getting into. Next question is about family interference. Now, at least in a lot of South Asian countries, I know that some of the families are very much involved in each other's life. Like especially in a joint family system, you know, you might have the chacha and mama also discussing or advising the kid. And I'm like, it might continue even later on when you grow up. So is your wife okay with that kind of interference? Because maybe she has grown in a nuclear setup and she has taken her own decisions, and she is not really dependent on her parents, or you know, she doesn't like that much interference from her in-laws, because after all, this is your married life and I think you both should take decisions. So family interference, very important to discuss, that how much of the boundaries are you going to set, or are you willing to set, and how much your partner can take that much family interference. Is she okay with it? Is he okay with your family giving advice or having an opinion about everything? You know, it happens a lot, especially about, you know, about kids and finances and she should not do the job, or it's enough, bahut ho gaya, wo kama raha hai. I'm like, I hate that fact. I hate it so much whenever I hear that. So all these things need to be, talked about before itself. Are you willing to adjust? Are you willing to be fine with this setup, or is it a deal breaker? You need to talk about all these things before marriage. Next question is about your religious belief, especially if it is an inter-caste marriage, or two different religions. That will be like a big deal sometimes, especially this thing always comes up that, okay, how will the marriage take place? Or if you decide to have kids, what faith would the children follow? Or are they going to have the best of both religions? Now, it can be simple things like a lot of Hindus have these days where, Monday they don't eat non-veg, or Thursday they don't eat non-veg. And yeah, so in your house, maybe since you have grown up, in a house like that, so when you get married, is that going to continue in your house also? And your wife might not be familiar with it. She would be like, I'll eat non-veg whenever I want, so are you okay with that? Or what if she's a vegetarian? She might not even want to cook non-veg. Now that is another thing, but I'm just saying. So what if she is not very religious and maybe she's spiritual? So are you alright with that? Or do you like have these grand celebrations on every festival? Do you like always have these pujas and havans? And is being too much religious important to you? So all these things need to be talked about. I don't know if it happens even now, but earlier I have heard a lot of families might have this, that no, you should wake up and have bath, only then enter the kitchen. So these things can also be important in some households. And if you are someone like me who wakes up only at 10:30, or sometimes even now 11, so I mean, I want my breakfast ready. I don't want to have bath first. So all these things need to be discussed. It can be such a simple thing, but it can be a big deal, especially in a country like India. So these are the basic questions you need to ask, and this is very important. I know a lot of people still go through the whole arranged marriage system. I think for them these questions are important to be asked more, because in love marriage it is like, you have been together for a long time, so you kind of know. Don't just meet and make out. This is also important to be asked. So please, whenever you meet, ask these questions. This is very important, so that you know what you're getting into. You need to know. Just keep talking. Talking is very important in relationships. I know a lot of people are losing that whole this conversation thing. Meet and talk and ask questions. You need to know what you're getting into before deciding to get married. Seriously. Alright, so that's it from me, folks. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment below and let me know, what do you think about this video? Are there any more questions to be asked? I'm sure there are a lot of other questions, but these are the most important, I feel. And please share this video with your friends, and please subscribe if you're liking my channel, if you're liking my videos. And if you want to check out my last video, it's somewhere here. Until next time, it's bye-bye from me. Take care.
See you for moving even